Hello, and welcome back to the Rate Frame Cast Pod.
Are here we? Star Wars, not May, not.
I can't think of that stuff on a whim like that. Hello. I'm gonna go ahead and just start over.
It's us.
Hello. You might be wondering what we're talking about today.
Well, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail or the title of the video, can you read and or see? If not, that's okay. This is a podcast. It's meant for your ears. And if you're deaf listening to this,
how? Sign it. I'll translate for you. You are stupid. Weird sign. Strangle. Tristan's dumb. But one. Forehead sweat. This is a podcast for audio listeners. So if you have a watch, you're going to throw up. I can't.
deaf people understand that one. Don't know if I'll make that a clip or not, but because
I don't know. I think
fine.
my translation skills were on point personally.
You could not have been farther off.
I liked the
only word
barf.
that you got correct was but. Probably because I mouthed it.
Yep. Anyways,
Shout out to the deaf community. I love you.
We watched Real Steel. That's right. The robot boxing movie from last century.
Nope. This century. Last decade.
Was based off of a book written last century.
Yes, and the movie takes place in 2020. I've never read the book. If anyone has read the book it's based off of, I don't remember what it is. It just called Steel?
It's just called Steel.
If anyone has read
it's like
Steel,
a short story
by author, I don't know.
It came out in 1956. This
Robot
guy had
boxing?
Yeah. This guy. Let me
Wow.
Hold on. Steel. 1956 short story.
Tell them about it. Welcome to the book club episode of the Frame Rate Podcast.
My Google's bugging out. It showed all the AI answers in code.
What?
So now I'm in Wikipedia. Set in the near future, its premise is that human professional boxing has been banned and been replaced by android boxing. That's interesting that they knew what androids were in the 50s. They just invented the bombs.
Well, androids were just mannequins that could move on their own. Walt Disney had animatronics.
The story follows a once famous human boxer who works as a manager for an antiquated android, was struggling to come to grips with his career having been taken over by machines.
That is not what Real Steel is about.
It's pretty close, though. He's a washed-up boxer.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say like his job had been taken over. He clearly could still do his job. He just was now.
It was by Richard Matheson.
Oh. Shout out Richard Matheson.
If you're still alive. Anyways, we watched this movie called Real Steel. I think that I've probably seen it maybe once, maybe twice before this. I do remember that there was a mobile app for this game, and I loved that. I played that a ton. I spent lots of money.
What was
refilling the energy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was just a boxing game. Like all those apps where you games on the phone where you turn it sideways and you're pushing buttons to hit. It's like punch, 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 swipe, dodge. It was like that.
Contest of Champions.
Yeah.
But with robots.
It also
another deep nostalgic cut. Marvel Contest of Champions. Does anyone still play that?
I don't think I ever got into that game.
Really?
Yeah.
That was like the only one I ever did.
I got into the Star Wars one. What was it? Galaxy of Heroes or something like that?
That was the one I couldn't get into.
Yeah, I was into that one.
I had a hard time with turn-based games when I was younger.
Real Steel.
Anyway, we're talking about robot
game.
boxing, and we're talking about the movie. We're talking about Hugh Jackman. We're talking about Evangeline Lilly. We're talking about Anthony Mackie. Who else are we talking about? Kevin Durand with the D at the end.
Not to be confused with Kevin Durant.
The words of Caesar.
That guy.
Wow, the game is still around.
Oh,
That's
I know what Tristan's doing tonight.
still a thing. Look. Oh, sorry, everybody. That's crazy. For anybody, what I want to point out first, Tristan really likes the Japanese culture. I've always wanted to go to Japan. Fun fact about that, come on, phone, rotate. There is a robot called, what was his name? Noisy Boy?
Yes.
His name is Noisy Boy, and he looks like a samurai. I'll zoom in so everybody who's watching can see. There's that. That is where Tristan's obsession with Japan stems from. I just saw cool blue robot, weird symbols. Oh! And since then, I've always wanted to go to Japan.
What are you going to do if you go there and there's no Noisy Boy?
I'll just find somebody. I'll be Noisy Boy.
I will be Noisy Boy. Make a cosplay.
Anyways, so this is a movie that came out a long time ago.
2011 to be specific.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know, was this a movie that was like popular at the time?
I was 8.
Well, yeah, but you knew about like how Tron wasn't popular when Tron came out. And that also came out.
Because I care about Tron more than Real Steel.
Fair enough. But I don't ever actually remember it like being, it definitely isn't something that is talked about a lot now.
I think
like Tron is.
Well, I think it probably is the same vein as Tron, where it maybe didn't do as well in theaters, but like its DVD release was insane.
Yeah.
That like the reason why it's such a huge point of nostalgia for a lot of people is because they grew up watching it at home. I doubt there's too many people that remember going to see Real Steel in theaters.
It said it grossed approximately 299.3 million worldwide against a production budget of 110.
Only 110 million for that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I guess for 2011's standards, that's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, but I think that this probably suffered from the same kind of problem that Tron did, is that it was a movie that I mean, judging by from rewatching it again, I will say that the movie's aged very well. It looks really good. The robots, like surprisingly enough, the robots look a lot better than some of the CGI we've had.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if I were to look and to learn that like whatever VFX house or company did Real Steel, if they had like invented new methods for like the gloss of metal or with how it like dents and just how all of that like comes together, like because it does look really good for its time. Like you're comparing it to like the Iron Man that come out a few years prior, and that looked really
I'd probably
good.
say like I was gonna say like it was probably overshadowed a lot by Transformers.
It's probably ILM if I had to guess. The same company who did Transformers and Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I would only assume they did.
But the movie aged really well, and I think that it probably suffered a lot from the fact that it came out during the time as Transformers had kind of made its run, and then like obviously Marvel had started out and stuff. So it just was
There was a lot of robots.
probably
in
doomed
theaters.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
But it was actually a really good movie. I found myself oftentimes throughout watching the movie, like, wow, they could for sure make a sequel of this.
yeah, just a continuation of
Yeah, like
Robot Boxing League.
yeah, I don't know if it would follow the same storyline, but I think it'd be cool to revisit this like robot boxing. I think it'd be cool.
Have like a Rocky and a Creed type.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman is now a retired
yeah, like he's seen
robot
some
boxing
success.
coach.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm getting sidetracked about that. But I just think that it was a fun movie to watch, and it's something that it's definitely one of them that I feel like it's not a movie that I'm gonna go, wow, this is so good. But it's one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, like I'll watch every now and then. Like it's a pretty good movie,
It's one of those movies that like
and my wife enjoyed it.
you're not sitting down to watch art. You're not sitting down to watch your mind get blown. Like obviously the story in like plenty of spots isn't fully put together. And there's some like the pacing isn't great and blah blah blah, all these things. But like it's not the reason we watched it.
Mm-mm.
I didn't watch it to be able to criticize the relationship
No.
Hugh Jackman and Evangeline Lilly's characters have. I watched it because it's a fun movie and you know, it was nostalgic and it's cool.
Well, and it has a good message to it, I think.
It's one of the better like father-son movies.
And
to
it's
at least come out
which
in the
is
last 15 years.
crazy because it's also the most like cliched father-son stories. Like, you know, deadbeat dad finds out he has a kid, doesn't want anything to do with the kid, ends up falling in love with the kid, right? Like realizing that being a dad's actually great and turns himself around so that he can be with his kid again, right? Like that's I would say that that's probably the most cliched like father-son Hollywood story.
Although I do think that they did it a little differently, and I liked the way that it was done differently. Because I think you know, to go off of what you were saying with the cliche was, I think it was more of the kid falling in love with his dad. Because to me, it just seemed like the dad, Hugh Jackman's character, was this pretty much the same towards him for nearly the whole movie. He was only ever proud of him when it got him money for a little while. And then eventually, once it got to the end where they were getting really successful, like where you thought like, oh, this might be where like the true bond where he's changed, but like the Russian lady offers $200,000 to buy Adam off of him, and Charlie, Hugh Jackman's character, is all over it and wants it, but the kid says no, and then they're again same dynamic, and then eventually, you know, get beat up. Kid asks, like, I just wish you would fight for me, and that's when Charlie's heart changes. It's like,
Yeah.
it's in the midst. It's like a little ways into the third act of the movie.
It's pretty close to like the final minutes of
Yeah, it's a very slow burn,
Yeah.
but like the whole time you feel it happening.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that Adam is kind of the catalyst, but like it doesn't fully become like a fully meshed, like, yes, this is a family. This is a dad with his kid. They love each other.
Yeah.
And this is their robot boxer
Yeah.
until the last scene of the movie.
Well, and you see that too, because I think something that I actually really appreciated was the fact that, like, when he goes back to apologize to his son, the aunt, the kid's aunt, isn't like, you're dead to me, Charlie. Like she actually gives into reason. She's like, okay, like, we understand. I actually appreciated that, even from a storytelling aspect, where it helped like kind of close the movie off, where instead of like fighting them on this stuff, they're just like, okay, one day though, right? Like kind of like a prove it to us, right? And then all of a sudden they were able to afford like ringside seats. And you're like, what?
Well, his rich aunt and uncle.
But It was a very good movie. And it's one of those ones where in a world nowadays where we're getting so many reboots and sequels of kind
originality
of all of the same things, I wish that when they were to make these sequels that they would take movies like this one, right?
Yeah.
And make a sequel out of it because it's new, it's fresh, we've seen it before, but it's not like the mainstream thing.
Like
right?
it wouldn't be your primary moneymaker, but it would be one that like I don't know, it'd be a mixed bag of nuts.
Yeah.
It would be like you'd have people to be like, "Oh my gosh." Like they actually remember and they care. And then you have people be like, "Don't touch my precious real steel."
I saw a reel the other day on Instagram, and it was I don't remember who it was. But it was someone talking about why like comedies, because the question was like why comedies nowadays like just aren't as good and don't hit as hard as like comedies
in like the 70s.
Yeah, or like 70s through like the early 2000s.
Uh-huh.
Right. And the one of the guys on there was like the reason why is because those comedies, when they would come out, they would never really do well in the theaters. But then whatever they missed out on in like the box office, they could remake once they like it went to DVD, right? And the DVD sales would be what made them money. And because nowadays there's no DVDs, so there's no secondhand income coming in, right? You're mainly relying on having a good like box breaking movie to make you your money while it's in its runs in theaters. That's why. And he was like, the reason why you don't see comedies that are ever new and original anymore is because movie companies, because they know that they're not going to catch the sales from DVD anymore, they have to find an IP that people are already familiar with and already tied down to. So when it comes to theaters, they actually will go and see it. Because like, let's be honest, if there was a movie like Tommy Boy, right? A great example. The movie Love Hurts, right?
Uh-huh.
The movie Love Hurts, me and Grace decided to take a chance on it because we saw some previews in the theaters earlier this year, and me and Grace decided to go and watch it. We love that movie. That movie is grade A funny. It is hilarious, right? But you didn't see like a whole lot of advertising for it. I'm sure it probably didn't make, I would be surprised if it made more than its budget back in the box office, right? And it will be one of those movies that you'll probably never hear of again, right?
Uh-huh.
That kind of thing, people don't do that anymore because they don't want to take a risk and then have them not make back their money they've spent on it, right? Versus if a movie like Love Hurts came out 10, 15 years ago, right? It would catch the moment. Its momentum would come after its initial release when people would buy the DVD because it'd be probably on sale in a box somewhere. And they're like, wow, this is actually really funny, right? Because I can almost guarantee that that's how, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was probably how almost all of Adam Sandler's movies got like really big, was because someone found it as a DVD and went, well, that might be funny, right? Because there's no way that Happy Gilmore did great in the theaters, right? The same with like the movies like The Burbs or The Money Pit or like Tommy Boy. They weren't like great when they were in theaters. Their success came after when they've had some time to sit on the shelves and people actually went and saw, right?
Yeah.
So where I was going with all of this is I wish that weren't the case, because I wish that more movies like Real Steel would get sequels because people would take chances on them, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the movie market is just crazy oversaturated with the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right. I'm tired of seeing aliens. I'm tired of seeing superheroes. I'm tired of seeing like sci-fi, like outer space sci-fi, right? Like bring something like Pacific Rim, right? Like change the sci-fi genre to be something new, but also fit that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, like, obviously, ton of layers go into it. Who knows all of the reasons why it happens, but not to like break the fourth wall or anything. But I feel like that's like part of the reason why things like what we do is somewhat important, even though we don't necessarily talk about the niche. We're not here talking about Love Hurts. We're not posting reviews of we saw it. One, here's where the fourth wall break comes in. No one would watch that. Two, we don't have the money to go see those things all the time. So like I think that's where like in a world of where streaming is such the way to go now. Like obviously a lot of the people that I see that are online posting movie reviews about things, they're always saying go to the theater, go support the movie theater, go watch it the way that movies were intended to be watched.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't get it in physical copies later.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Help us be able to afford watching niche movies.
Not only that, just like bring back good movies, right? Like that's just something that I feel like is just absent. And I know that we've delved a little far from where we intended this to start, but
Anyone remember what we were talking about?
Yeah. But like, it just sometimes like it feels like, especially nowadays, we live in a world where everything is so hyper focused on being convenient that there's all kinds of things vying for our time, and we miss out on the fun moments that me and you grew up with, right? Like sometimes not that I worry for my kid, but I've talked about with Grace a lot that right now we're both really busy and we don't have time to just sit down and watch movies. But when our kids are old enough, like we're going to dedicate time during the week that we just put everything away and we just sit down and watch a movie, right? Because those are really great experiences. And also you discover lots of really good, like that's how I have accumulated all of my knowledge about movies that have come out before my time. Because my dad just sat down and was like, watch this. No more Xbox. Right? And it just, that would be my hope, that stuff like that would hopefully have enough of an effect that they would want to do that with their kids. And we could like revive the movie industry and bring back some fun life into it where people are like wanting to do fun stuff instead of watching the 15th Star Wars, right? Or seeing Marvel's 400th episode of some superhero, right? Like originality is missing.
There are so many books waiting to be adapted.
Mm-hmm.
Best adapted screenplay is becoming more and more of a boring Oscar to see people receive.
Mm-hmm.
Because the movie that they adapted the screenplay from was boring.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was intended to win an Oscar. Ring culture is ruining movies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Robots beating each other up in an octagon. Not an octagon. The ring. Sorry, none of them are actually the shapes they're called.
Yeah.
The box.
Fighting robots.
What about them?
It was just fun to watch. Like my inner kid, these movies are always fun to watch again now that I'm older, because like now that I'm older, you watch them and you're like, right? But as a kid, you're like, kill it! Kill the robot!
Adam, put your hands up! Get out of the corner! You get very passionate.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about the boxing robots was how like personified they really were. Like, in the final fight with Adam and Zeus, like Adam gets rocked right in the side of the head and he's like stumbling, like he's having a hard time staying conscious. How do you program a robot to get like
my favorite
pass
scene
out?
about all of that is the first punch when he's like, just hits the floor.
oh my. Some fight this is gonna be.
Oh, but I mean, from a non-professional like movie reviewing standpoint, it was fun to watch, and I love all of the robots' designs. Like even the junkyard robot that has the hammer for a hand. Like there was just a lot of this movie where I'm like, yeah, bring back fighting robots. If only BattleBots was this cool instead of created RC cars.
They're the closest thing we have
Yeah.
to real life, real steel. I'd like it, but I'd assume, like, in the movie, every robot is like at least $30,000. I would imagine it's way more than that now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think going along with like your personification of robots, I think it's funny, like some of the faces that they have and like the weird like movements that they do. Like when Twin Cities is walking out of the hall and
Their heads are.
and it's like heads are spinning around looking at different people as if the robot isn't being controlled by two sweaty dudes at the ring. Or how Adam, instead of having facial features, just has two welded lines on his mesh.
Yeah, look like scratches, a smiley face.
But I don't know. There was a bunch of those little details where I thought it was funny, like getting more on a note of like what was wrong with this movie. There was a lot of things in there where I was like, this is so unbelievably unnecessary.
Like what?
Like the robots stumbling, like they just lost consciousness, right? Or the unbelievably high number of times where they refer to each other by their first name. Charlie, have you ever built a robot, Charlie? They fight, Charlie. Charlie, come on, Charlie. Do you know what I mean, Charlie? Charlie? You're like, oh my gosh.
I know his name.
Hey, what's his name? I got it.
Max. It's not a hamburger. It's a burrito, Max. Max. Ah!
Get up, Adam. Adam.
Get up. having Max when he gets knocked out of the zoo, like nurse him back to consciousness. Get up, Adam. Get up. Yeah.
I also think it's funny, like the animation, like you can see where they ran out of budget, right? Like they spent a lot of their budget showing Adam stumble, right? But also in that scene where he's nursing him back, Adam's like, just you can see just like the AI model, just we gotta make it do something. Okay, just have it sit up. Okay. Oh, that's good.
Click and drag the headpiece.
Yep.
Hey, it's robotic, right? They'll believe it.
Oh, but there's definitely, like looking back on it now, there's a lot of stuff in there where you're like, ugh. You had talked about like a bunch of like cuts.
Yeah, I'm not fully sure if that was just like the streaming version that we were watching just weird, but there were like some parts where like it seemed like it cut too early. Like the character wasn't fully off screen when it was clear that they were intended to be.
Turns around, he's like, cut.
And then it's just to the next scene. You're like,
yeah.
And then like when Twin Cities is walking up to the ring, you see the ring like open up, and then it cuts to Hugh Jackman and Max like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden Twin Cities is in the ring.
That was funny too, is we both looked at each other from across the room and was like, I guess that wasn't in the budget.
Couldn't afford to see the two-headed robot crouch down and get under.
It's probably a physics nightmare.
Two-headed. Like, his shoulder's always clipping through.
One of the head drags. I also thought that the dents were a little funny looking, like all the dents that would show up in Adam. I was like, this doesn't really look like a dent, but more like you took a bite out of Adam's frame.
Maybe that's how they had to do it back then.
Like there wasn't any like actual like indentation from the fist. It just looked like weathered marks from video games.
Yeah, like
when you crash into a
in the
wall.
final fight, obviously Adam is taking a crap ton of hits, and then like it'll cut to him, and obviously he's a lot more banged up, but not like to the extent that you would think with how much he was getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you'd think that mesh would have gotten ruined somehow, but it
Yeah,
never was.
like a light would have gone out, like because you see him smoking and stuff. Which, by the way, I think it's very funny that really all Adam's running off of in his head is like one of those little HP light up fans.
He's got RGB from 2014. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was so funny, but. Other than that, like it was just a fun movie. There was a lot of like funny moments in there where you were like, ugh, this is kind of weird. But there's also a lot of stuff in there where you're like, this is pretty good. My favorite was the product placements.
Yeah, like you have to wonder how many of those were like paid by the company to be advertised in the
Like
movie.
Sprint.
Y'all remember Sprint?
Can you hear me now?
They are in the movie.
And it's
They're
like
a sponsor of the.
it's like the
robot
old
like-
Sprint logo before they went out of business.
Feathers and then T-Mobile bottom.
Del Taco was one of them. Every single piece of technology had HP on it.
HP round changer.
HP
The
computer
one-
screens.
I thought that was a little interesting. Like it made sense that they had like an android woman doing that, but like there's no other like she's the only robot in the movie that isn't a boxer.
Yeah.
And you wonder like, does this mean they have more robots in their day-to-day lives? Are Roombas mannequins that are just given a vacuum? They faceless? Uppercut. Dust bunnies. It was stupid.
Del Taco was another one.
You did say that already.
That one was my favorite one because nowhere.
Does Del Taco sponsor anything anymore? I know that there's a lot of Del Taco franchises in America.
Never have I ever seen a Del Taco sponsor any major sporting
I
event.
can't remember last time I saw a Del Taco ad. I'm being so for real.
And then there was the Xbox 720. That one's funny. That one actually has some really funny history behind it.
Yeah. Obviously, with the Xbox 360, everyone was like, oh, well, the next one has to just be, ×2.
And I remember
Xbox 720.
I remember falling for so much of that stupid concept art. I remember one that looked like somebody had taken a green disc and left it in a window and it had like melted. Xbox 720. You could run 5 CD games in this. And it's like the animation. And I'm like, what? That's insane. I can play 5 games. Oh, how far we've come.
Xbox One. That's less than 360.
Xbox Series X.
Mini fridge. I can't remember what I was gonna say. It's
What
it escaped my mind.
What was what would say what? Yeah, English. What would you say was like the worst part of the movie? I would say like the showing back up of Kevin Durant. Right, it was really the only thing that I know that they kind of had to have it happened so that
You mean like the second time he
Yeah.
showed up?
yeah.
Yeah, like I get him showing up. He's just a plot device.
Yeah. It moves the
just-
story forward,
Yeah, like
but it was very weird.
he withheld like money that he promised to give him. I don't remember his character's name. He said like once.
Big old Tex, that's what I'm gonna call him.
Yeah. The cowboy who in the future plays a monkey.
What's up, homie? That's right, I called you homie.
What'd you say? I like how that was viewed as like racist.
Yeah, cowboy saying homie, as if homie's not the most used word.
Nowadays, everyone's homie.
But that was probably when watching the movie and seeing that part, like I picked up that it was okay. This is just furthering the plot.
I
But
think-
this is really weird.
I think I disliked, I guess, like, because it's just so loosely mentioned. I kind of just disliked how easily they were able to beat up Charlie. Because like, there's no mention that Kevin Durant's cowboy character is a former boxer, like Charlie was, and like obviously it's mentioned later that Charlie was like a stupid good boxer
Yeah.
who was beating world champions.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously he's like old and washed, but he's still boxing and he still knows his stuff and whatever. And he's Hugh Jackman and he's jacked.
Yeah.
So like
He definitely
having-
got beat a little too
having-
easily.
especially like that one part where Hugh Jackman punches him right in the face real hard 3 straight times. He's just and then next thing you know, he comes back. Perfect. Bam bam. Hugh Jackman on the ground bleeding.
Not even
Poor
that.
guy.
Hugh Jackman on the ground with a little bit of a sweaty face. The kid's like, "Oh, what's wrong?"
Jacket off. Under the head.
Pillow.
You're okay now. Rest easy, child.
That was just a weird part to me. I think also some of the dialogue. I remember us saying, "Oh God." I remember us saying like that the kid was crazy mature.
Yeah.
I think that was a little off-putting for me.
Yes.
Yeah, that was definitely a little off-putting.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just one of those things that, like, you could just, like, infer, like, oh, like, he's been kind of on his own. So, like, you can imagine, you know, like, the streets raised him or whatever. And he talks a little better. But, like, he was, like, extremely intelligent.
Yeah. No, Charlie. Dogs don't go to heaven, Charlie. That was the only thing that like every time they said Charlie, I was just thinking of that dog. The note, all dogs go to heaven dog.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why, but every mention of Charlie.
Charlie.
Oh, Charlie. I'm in deep trouble, Charlie.
Talk about a movie we should review on the podcast.
Goodness gracious, that villain scared me a lot as a child.
No, but there was just a lot of that where the kid would talk to Hugh Jackman, and you're like, which one of these people were the ones that is an adult, and which one is the kid that just had his mom pass away? Like,
Yeah, there's no grieving involved for anyone. You'd think
No.
like the kid that had been living with his mom and had loved his mom for
he's also a greedy little
the
bastard,
11.
dude.
Give me 50,000. I owe half of that.
No, you don't.
2,000 if he survives around.
I want my $5. You know, it's $2. Give me my $2. You know what I'm quoting?
Mm-mm.
Better Off Dead.
Nope.
You never seen that movie?
Nope.
Wow.
Put it on the list.
That was just something that I thought was really funny. Like, okay, buddy, I'm 25 and I don't know what that word means.
Like, they could at least implied that he grew up and went to MIT and built robots.
Yeah, and I think that there was just a lot of like just dialogue in general that you were like, the biggest example was when the kid's like, No, he's my robot. I spent almost all night digging him out of the mud. He's my robot. And then like literally 5 seconds later, the chick is like, what happened to you? As he says it to her. Like, you idiot.
You listen? Yeah. I think for me, I guess it can't really be my least favorite part specifically, but like I didn't necessarily like the way that Charlie and whatever Evangeline Lilly's character's name was, like exactly like their relationship dynamic. Because like for most of the movie, it really
seems like
just
they're
feels
friends.
really platonic.
Yeah.
Like he had been trained by her dad at his boxing gym that she is struggling to pay for, but he is her friend and has been helping her keep the gym out of respect for her father. And so it just feels extremely platonic. And obviously you can see that it's probably going to go somewhere romantic, but like the whole time it just doesn't feel
It's not
that
really
way.
hinting. And like, there's not really like any kind of romantic tension.
They're not like moving on each other. They're not flirting. They're just arguing.
Like, there's one scene where he moves in close and they're like this close to each other. But then after that, like, they don't do anything. They don't talk. They don't like, hey, you know?
Yeah, the romance only comes after Charlie gets rid of the kid and talks to her about how he kind of regrets it. And then
Spoons her.
mwah,
Spoons her.
yeah,
He's like,
then kiss.
yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it wasn't platonic. And
Yeah,
then at the end with, you know, them cutting to her, which obviously I appreciate that, having her being like another boxing aficionado and being another coach ringside. And then at the end, like, you know, they're looking at each other because they love each other and they care. And then like, you're not quite sure if this is she going to be like Max's mom, stepmom, and what is this? You never really know, but you just know that she is there and appreciated. You have to say that she was like
She played her part really
a
well.
strongly written woman,
She did.
which unfortunately it doesn't happen all too often. Cough, cough, Christopher Nolan.
But sometimes, yeah. I also wish, like, going along with that, I wish that they would have, like, not given us like a black and white montage, like, right, and it shows all like black and white pictures of Charlie went off to play boxing at MIT.
Play boxing, MIT.
This random kid died picking up Adam after the fight. Right? Like they didn't. I was not like I was expecting.
Adam went on to win 5 straight world boxing championships.
Not that I was expecting
Zeus
something
was
like
retired shortly after for
Yeah.
his flaws.
But there was just a lot there at the ending. Like, the way that the movie ends, it ends weird. Like, you're like,
Well, they didn't win, but he's the people's champion.
but you don't fit. Like, Grace brought up a great point. You don't figure out what happens to the kid. You don't figure out what happens to their relationship. You don't figure out anything. Right?
Yeah.
There was definitely times in the movie where there was directions that they could have gone, but then they just like ended the movie. And you're like, cool.
Yeah. The blinding light that was there for a little too long. Then real steel.
Yeah.
This was a manly movie. Fatherhood is masculine. Robots. Like, oh,
Trucks.
bear, deadbeat dad. Man. You ever felt a robot punch you right in the anus? That's how it feels to drive the all new Ford F-250.
Doodaloo doo. Doodaloo doo doo.
Ford. More saving, more doing.
Did your robot dad ever?
You ever felt the Colorado blue breeze grace your bare butt cheeks? That's how it feels to drive the all-new Ram 2500. Ram!
Oh, but new topic, pacing. And I'll keep this really brief. The pacing was okay until about the third act. I actually didn't have hardly any problems with it until it came time for them to actually wrap up this movie. Then I was like,
yeah, it did move like way quick. Because like kind of how like what I had mentioned.
they fight
The way that the dynamic between Max and Charlie, about how it was more about Max falling in love with his dad. Like it happened very quickly. You know, like tried to sell the robot. Charlie wanted to. Max didn't. Break up. They get beat up. Max goes away. Like Max going away should have happened in like the middle of Act 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then then they have fights and then they get invited to join the World Boxing League. That's what I think should have happened.
I think that their first opponent should have. Yeah. Yes. If I could redo the story, I would do that. Have them go off right, like right as soon as they start like picking up momentum and steam. Have them split, right, and then when they get the gang back together, it's because they're given an opportunity, like an invite to fight in. Is it the WBF?
I don't remember.
The RBF? No, that's not it.
That's what that is.
But like their first introduction fight to it should have been against Zeus, right? Because Zeus just needs robots as like a meat
Punching
shield.
bags.
Yeah. So then it would have actually been a little different. Like, oh, he didn't win, but he didn't
got
die.
to land hits.
Right.
Like, hey, we'll have you go up against Twin Cities. Beats Twin Cities. Like, oh, you could fight Zeus again. Fights Zeus, and then nearly wins.
Yeah.
Or wins.
Right. That's what they should have done. They also should have kept out the
I'm calling out that random lady up there. Never in this movie is it implied that you pay this sport off so that your robot looks the best, but now I'm going to introduce it as a crucial plot point to move the story forward.
this just in, there's controversy. We're not going to talk about it.
Whoa, Russian lady bad. Not propaganda.
Now watch the Japanese guy crash out.
He says not a word.
You just hear.
Oh. Definitely one of my favorite parts that's just kind of dumb is right at the end where the guy who built the robot, like, comes in at the end of the fight to take it over manually. One, he just tosses the guy in the chair. And then two, as soon as he grabs the joysticks,
I know.
He's got shake weights trying to beat this guy.
Come on. Ah!
Right through the glass. Which, wow.
You punch through the glass and
That glass shattered into way smaller pieces than it should have.
There's still more fight to be left.
Not over. You. Just battery died. Oh, round is over. You're lucky.
Anyways, so when it can, that's my thoughts on pacing. Like, I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
For pacing or the whole movie?
In pacing. Movie,
I feel like it's pretty close to that for me.
I would say 6.5
Yeah.
because it had cool robots.
Yeah.
And the colors they picked for everything were really cool.
Yeah. I thought color grading and lighting was really good. The effects was really good.
The acting was terrible on anyone who wasn't actually like
Known.
an A-list celebrity.
Even then, Anthony Mackie's wasn't superb.
Anthony Mackie
He did a good job for what he was given.
yeah.
Being the MC of an underground boxing league is.
Being the Falcon.
If I had a nickel for every time I saw Anthony Mackie with an Eminem song playing in the background, I'd have 2 nickels. In
underground, darkly lit. My Doofenshmirtz is only getting worse as I go on. I have to stop.
By the end of it, I would have 2 nickels. No,
I would have 2.
I would give the movie like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I would match that.
It was okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think. You have anything more you want to say?
No.
I think my last thought is as we go out will come from the robot man himself.
This movie was pretty good. I like robots, but I really wish that they would speak. I need the robots to speak.